D block. Now today let's see two more properties, then we'll go with the compounds of D block. Okay. Now the D block elements are acting as a catalyst. Means not only D block elements and their compounds. Means if you take D block elements and its compounds, D block elements and its compounds are acting as catalysts, right? The main reason to show this catalytic activity because of variable oxidation state of D block elements. Variable oxidation state of D block elements. Generally, we take reaction I minus plus S2O8 2 minus gives rise to I2 I2 plus SO4 2 minus. This reaction is catalyzed by using iron as the catalyst. By using iron as the catalyst. Now, if you see here in this reaction, Fe3 plus when it reacts with I minus, it gives Fe2 plus plus I2 we can take. Then the same Fe2 plus which on reaction with the S2O8 2 minus gives rise to Fe3 plus plus SO4 2 minus. Means to perform the conversion of I minus to I2, the Fe3 plus will be converting into Fe2 plus. For S2O8 2 minus to SO4 2 minus, it is converting to Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus. When we consider this as equation 1, this as equation 2, what happens? This Fe2 plus, this Fe2 plus get cancelled. This Fe3 plus, this Fe3 plus get cancelled. Finally, we can see that this particular equation. Here we are telling that the D block elements are and their compounds will be acting as catalyst because of its oxidation, variable oxidation states. Then come to the interstitial compounds. The D block elements are going to form interstitial compounds. Interstitial compounds it is going to form. Here, the D block elements are going to form a interstitial compounds with small atoms like hydrogen, copper, and nitrogen. With the help of these three elements only, it is going to form a interstitial compound. These compounds are non-stoichiometric. Either it is neither going to show a ionic character or nor covalent character. Neither ionic nor covalent behavior we can see. Right. Even here we have some special properties for interstitial compounds. Here we have some special properties for the interstitial compounds. Okay. Now, here if you see the properties, they have high melting points and higher than the other pure metals. They have high melting points and uh, which is higher than pure metals. Then the next one is it is they retain metallic conductivity. Even here we can see the metallic conductivity is retained. Metallic conductivity is retained. Okay. Now, if you come here, these interstitial compounds are right. Interstitial compounds are chemically inert. Chemically inert. All these are properties of interstitial compounds. Even they are very hard. Sometimes it is going to show its hardness more than diamond. Apart from this, the special characters of D block elements are it is going to form alloys. Alloys are nothing but it is a mixture of metal with any other metal, mixture of metal with other non-metals we can say. The best example for alloys we can take brass, where we can see the composition of copper and zinc, whereas bronze we can see the composition of copper and tin we can notice. Even you can take German silver. You can take German silver. All these are examples of uh, um, all these are examples of alloys. Here we can take nickel, zinc, and copper we can take. Right? All these are examples of alloys. Okay. Now come to the important compounds of D block elements, that is potassium dichromate, and the other one is potassium permanganate. Now let us see the preparation of potassium dichromate, that is K2Cr2O7. This can be prepared by taking iron chromate, that is FeCr2O4, which on reaction, which on reaction with oxygen in the presence of Na2CO3, it gives sodium chromate, that is Na2CrO4 plus Fe2O3 plus CO2 we can take. This sodium chromate which is formed, that is Na2CrO4 which is formed, it is going to react with acidified sulfuric acid. This H plus has come from H2SO4. Thereby it gives Na2Cr2O7 plus Na plus plus H2O we can take. Na plus H2O we can take. But the sodium dichromate which is formed here, which is more soluble, that is the reason we can prepare a potassium dichromate by treating this sodium dichromate with the potassium chloride. Thereby it is giving potassium dichromate, that is K2 Cr2O7 plus NaCl we can take. Even this one we can also call it as a pyrolusite ore. A pyrolusite ore we can take for the preparation of potassium dichromate. Potassium and dichromate we can take. Okay. Now, if you come to the next one, that is the properties of this one. This one I can take it as CrO4 2 minus, which is chromate, which is chromate. This chromate will change to dichromate in the presence of acidic medium. There we can see Cr2O7 2 minus plus H2O we can take. Cr2O7 2 plus plus H2O we can take. Even if you see here, the chromium oxidation state is +6. Even in Cr2O7 2 minus also, the chromium oxidation state is +6. There is no change in oxidation state. Even if you take Cr2O7 2 minus plus OH minus, that is in the presence of basic medium, it gives CrO4 2 minus plus H2O we can take. CrO4 2 minus plus H2O we can take. Here also no change in oxidation state. This particular one is very very important. Now let us see the structures of this chromate, that is CrO4 2 minus. The structure we can take like this: chromium, oxygen, 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 like this. Here we can write 2 minus, which is a tetrahedral geometry. We can see a tetrahedral geometry. Generally the chromate is yellow color. The chromate is yellow color. Then let us see Cr2O7 2 minus, that is dichromate, which is in orange color, which is in orange color. We can see the structure of dichromate like this: CrO, Cr like this, then single bond O, 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 like this. Here the CrO Cr bond angle we can take like 126 degree, 126 degree. But if you see here CrO bond length, that bond length I can take it as 163 picometer. Here whatever the bond angle here we are seeing, that will be 179 picometer. 179 picometer we can consider, right? These are very important. And this Cr2O7 2 minus, that is dichromate, this will be acting as a oxidizing agent. This one we can balance by using this particular one. We can balance by using this particular one. Cr2O7 2 minus is converting into Cr3 plus we can take. Means here first we should balance this. We can take 2 Cr3 plus. For 7 oxygens I am writing 7 H2O. When I take 7 H2O here, it becomes 14 hydrogens, that is 14 H plus plus if you balance the electrons, it will be 6 electrons. Already this balancing we completed in redox reactions. That is why directly I am writing this particular reaction, where the E naught value is 1.33 volts. Means here it is a oxidizing agent which undergo uh, reduction, right? Now even if it is undergoing a reduction, tell me, Akash Rathod is raised his hand. What is the doubt here? Right, I'll make him to clear his doubt. Akash, Akshata Rathod.
Sir, just now you explained, no, that once more you explain, sir.
Which one ra? Just now I
Just now
explained means
point, that will be.
this equation, huh?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now actually this particular one will be taking like this: Cr2O7 2 minus gives rise to Cr3 plus. This equation idea is there. Here we should calculate oxidation number of chromium. 2x
Sir.
plus 7 into minus 2 is equal to minus 2. 2x minus 14 is equal to minus 2. 2x is equal to 12. X is equal to plus 6. Till here it is okay, Akshata?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Sir.
Here plus 6 to plus 3, what happened, ra? Plus 6 to plus 3, what happened? Decrease in oxidation number.
Yes, sir.
Right? Decrease in oxidation number is what we can call it as a reduction. Generally what we say, when Cr2O7 it is acting as oxidizing agent, oxidizing agent undergoes reduction. Then how to balance this equation in the acidic medium? That is, the reaction is going to happen in the acidic medium. That is the reason I am taking like this. In
Yes,
acidic
sir.
medium, to balance oxygen, we are going to add a required number of water molecules. To balance hydrogen, we are going to add required number of H plus ions, right? But we should balance the atoms other than oxygen and hydrogen first. But in the left hand side you can see two chromium atoms, and in the right hand side you can see only one chromium. That is why we can see immediately how many chromium atoms we can write. We can write two chromium atoms here. Just I'll be writing uh, 2Cr3 plus 2Cr3 plus. Now atoms are balanced, chromium atoms are balanced.
Balance.
Now I'm going to balance other atoms other than chromium. Now you can see that in the left hand side what is available? 7 oxygen atoms are available. To
Yes, sir.
balance the oxygens, what we are doing? We are going to add a required number of H2Os. We
Okay.
are going to add
Yes,
required
sir.
number of H2Os. How many H2Os we are supposed to add? Because here 7 oxygens are there. To
Yes,
balance
sir.
that, I am adding 7 H2O. I'm adding 7
Seven.
H2O here. I added. When I added that, 7 twos are how many hydrogens are coming? 14 hydrogens are coming. This side I am going to add a 14 H plus. 14 H plus.
Yes,
Now you can see that here two chromium atoms are there. Here also two chromium atoms are there. Here 7 oxygen atoms are there. Here also 7 oxygen atoms are there.
sir.
14 hydrogen atoms are there, then 14 hydrogen atoms are there. Now see the charge wise. This is Cr2O7 2 minus. Now here two negatives are there. Then how many positives are there? 14 positives are there. 14 H plus means 14 positives. Here all together it is 2 minus. That is two negatives will be there. These two negatives get cancelled by two positives only now. Akshata?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Sir.
Then how many positives will be left? 12
Two.
positives will be left. But if you see the right hand side, already we have 6
Two chromium.
positive on the right hand side. Means
Yes, sir.
there should be 6 positive on the left hand side also. Left hand side also. That is why I'm subtracting 6 positives. Then what will happen? The remaining 6 positives will be there. 6
Two.
positives will be there. These 6 positives will get cancelled with the help of 6 electrons. That is the reason for the 6 positives. I am going to add 6 electrons here. That 6 electrons I am writing here. That 6
Yes, sir.
electrons I am
Yes,
writing
sir. Yes, sir.
here. Now understood this?
Yes, sir.
The final equation we can write like Cr2O7 2 minus plus 14H plus 6 electrons gives rise to 2Cr3 plus 7H2O we can take, plus 7H2O
H2.
we can take, right? Right. Now here what is happening? The oxidizing agent uh, undergoing reduction.
Yes,
Oxidizing
sir.
agent undergoing
Understood.
reduction. The other one should undergo
Yes,
oxidation. For that, I am going to write the other half reaction. I am going to write the other half reaction. For this, I'll clear this one particular one. Then I'll write the single equation. Cr2O7 2 minus plus 14H plus 6 electrons gives rise to Cr3 plus 7H2O we can take, right? Right. Now, here I'll be taking one more equation to connect a complete redox reaction. Now, I'm going to take this particular one like SN2 plus gives rise to SN4 plus. Plus 2 to plus 4, what happens? Increase in oxidation number. Plus 2 to plus 4 oxidation state is increase in oxidation number. This I can take SN2 plus gives rise to SN4 plus 2 electrons. I can write no Akshata. Now here I'll
Yes,
be
sir.
taking 6 electrons, but here I'll be taking 2 electrons. But whenever you take
Yes, sir.
two redox reactions, the electrons on the both sides should cancel. That is why I'm going to multiply this with the 3. Then I can
Yes,
write 3SN2 plus gives rise to 3SN4 plus 6 electrons I can take to cancel
yes,
the
sir.
electrons on both the sides. 6
Yes, sir.
electrons, 6 electrons get cancelled. Then the final equation I can write it as
Yeah, two.
Cr2O7 2 minus plus 14H plus. I am writing this, that is plus 3SN2 plus gives rise to Cr3 plus SN4 plus, that is 3SN4 plus 7H2O we can take.
Two.
Means this is a
Yes,
complete redox reaction. Complete redox reaction. Not only
yeah, sir.
this, we can also take the combination of Fe2
Yes,
plus is converting into Fe3 plus. Fe2 plus
yes, sir.
is converting into
Into
Fe3
two plus.
plus. Even you can take
Yes,
any
sir.
reaction. Not only this, here
Okay.
it is reduction, the other one should be oxidation, we can say, right? Now this is one important compound, that is redox reaction. Redox
Yes, sir.
reaction, even this particular one I discussed in redox reactions, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now I'm going to take the other important compound, that is potassium permanganate, that is KMnO4. KMnO4.
Four.
How can we prepare this KMnO4? Here we can take like MnO2. MnO2 plus this Manasa and Amrita, they are trying to connect, but they are unable to connect to this network. No. Right. Now MnO2, that is manganese dioxide, which on reaction with potassium hydroxide and oxygen, it gives K2MnO4. K2MnO4 plus H2O we can take. What is this K2MnO4? What is the name of this K2MnO4?
Potassium
Potassium
permanganate.
manganate. It's very manganate. Potassium manganate. Permanganate is different. Permanganate is KMnO4. Manganate is K2MnO4. The main difference here in potassium permanganate and potassium manganate, potassium permanganate we can write MnO4 minus, potassium manganate we can write MnO4 2 minus we can write. Now here whatever the potassium manganate is produced, that is K2MnO4, which is produced, which on treatment with H plus, which on treatment with the acid, it gives MnO4 minus, that is potassium permanganate plus MnO2 plus H2O we can write. H2O we can write. This is one method to prepare potassium permanganate, but even this we can prepare commercially by using this particular method. MnO2, when it is fused with, when it is fused with KOH, KOH oxidized with the help of KNO3, oxidized with the help of KNO3, it gives MnO4 2 minus, that is manganate ion. This manganate, which an electrolytic reduction, which an which an which an electrolytic oxidation, it gives MnO4 minus. MnO4 minus it is going to produce, right? But here I would like to say one particular thing to you people. Potassium dichromate as well as potassium permanganate, both are colored. Both are colored. What is the color of potassium dichromate? Orange color we have seen, correct? K2Cr2O7, we can see the orange crystals, whereas KMnO4 is what color? We can see a purple color we can see, but the K2MnO4, which is green color, which is green color, whereas CrO4 2 minus, which is yellow color, which is yellow color. This we can write K2CrO4. K2CrO4 we can take. Means whether if you take K2CrO4, K2Cr2O7, KMnO4, K2MnO4, in all the cases, it is colored because of what is the reason? They are all colored because of charge transfer. Because of charge transfer. Only potassium dichromate and potassium permanganate, we remember that they are colored because of charge transfer. They are colored because of charge transfer. Apart from this, remaining all D block elements are colored because of DD transition. DD transition. Much explanation is not required here. Just will be telling potassium permanganate and potassium dichromates are colored because of what transition? Charge transfer. Remaining all are because of DD transition, we can say. Even this potassium permanganate we can prepare in the laboratory by using Mn2 plus S2O8 2 minus gives rise to MnO4 minus. MnO4 minus plus SO4 2 minus plus H plus we can take. Generally the reaction will be happening in the presence of water only. Even this potassium permanganate, which on heating, it becomes K2MnO4 plus MnO2 plus O2 we can take. O2 we can take. But here in this particular case, we are going to balance reaction in three different ways. Reaction in three different ways. The first one is MnO4 minus converting into Mn2 plus. How will you balance this? Four oxygens are there. For that reason, I am going to write 4 H2Os here. When I add 4 H2Os, here I can see 8 H plus. Then if you see the electrons, finally we'll be adding 5 electrons. We'll be adding 5 electrons. Right. Now, even this MnO4 minus, MnO4 minus is converting into MnO4 2 minus, means permanganate is converting into manganate just by adding one electron. Just by adding one electron. Even you can take MnO4 minus converting into MnO2 here. This also we can balance. Already two hydrogens are there. For that, I am going to add two H2Os here. Then 4H plus I am taking. One positive will be cancelled by one negative. Then the remaining will be 3 electrons we can take. Whatever the compounds I took here, MnO4 minus is converting into Mn2 plus, MnO4 minus is converting into MnO4 2 minus, MnO4 minus is converting into MnO2. It means here it is converting to plus 7 to plus 2, here it is converting to plus 7 to plus 6, here it is converting plus 7 to plus 4 we can take. Generally, the D block elements are going to show the maximum oxidation states, maximum variable oxidation states. It is because of availability of D and S electrons. Is it clear? Now, this is also acting as an oxidizing agent. Akshata, it is okay? It is also acting as a oxidizing agent. It is undergoing reduction. It is undergoing reduction. For that, I will be taking one particular example, that is MnO4 minus G plus 8H plus 5 electrons gives rise to Mn2 plus 4H2O we can take. Now I'll be taking one particular equation. The I minus will be converting into I2. First we should balance this 2I minus gives rise to I2 plus 2 electrons I can take. Here 5 electrons are there. Here 2 electrons are there. This complete equation I'll be multiplying with 5. This complete equation I'll be multiplying with the 2 to cancel the all electrons. Then I can write 2MnO4 minus plus 16H plus 10 electrons gives rise to 2Mn2 plus 8H2O we can take, and here this one we can take 10I minus gives rise to 5I2 plus 10 electrons I can take. I can cancel this, then I can write the final equation. I'll be writing here 2MnO4 minus plus 16H plus 10I minus gives rise to 2Mn2 plus 8H2O plus 5I2 we can take. 5I2 we can take. This is a balanced equation. For every equation, we are going to follow like this only. One is undergoing oxidation, the other one is undergoing a reduction. Right. Now, come to the in the neutral as well as a faintly alkaline medium. Neutral as well as a faintly alkaline medium. What observations we can see? Let us take one more example. In the neutral medium, in the neutral medium, if anybody has any doubts, you can raise your hand or you can ask questions. Nothing wrong in that. Okay. Now, neutral medium and a faintly alkaline medium. Faintly alkaline medium. Right. Now, here I am taking MnO4 minus is converting into MnO2 in the basic medium. Here I am writing the final equation MnO4 minus plus H2O I minus MnO2 plus OH minus gives rise to IO3 minus. IO3 minus. IO3 minus means how we can write here. What is the meaning of this IO3 minus? What is the name? Iodate ion. Iodate ion. Even not only this, if you take MnO4 minus plus S2O3 2 minus plus H2O gives rise to MnO2 plus SO4 2 minus plus OH minus. Here, these reactions are balancing in the basic medium. Which medium it is balancing? It is balancing in the basic medium. Right. Now, one more reaction, that is MnO4 minus plus Mn2 plus H2O gives rise to MnO2 plus H plus we can write. H plus we can write. See, all these cases, the reaction is balancing in the basic medium. MnO4 minus is converting into MnO2 in all the cases. MnO4 minus is converting into MnO2. Here I minus is converting into IO3 minus. S2O3 2 minus is converting into SO4 2 minus. Even Mn2 plus also converting into MnO2. Right. Now let us go with the F block elements. F block elements. F block elements means how many series we can see?
సన్న పిల్లడేమో బే
F block elements, we can also call it as
Two
inner
series.
transition elements.
Inner transition elements.
Very good. What is the electronic configuration of
Transition.
inner transition elements? Electronic configuration. Any idea is there? N minus 2. Very good. F
F
1 to 14.
to
N
power
minus
1 to
1 into
14,
D
1
0 or 1,
to 10.
then NS2 we can take. NS 1 to 2 we can, NS2 only. NS2 only we can take. Right. This is outermost shell, that we can call it as ultimate shell. The shell before ultimate shell is penultimate shell. The shell before penultimate shell is anti-penultimate shell. Anti-penultimate shell. All these things we should know. N outer shell, N minus 1 penultimate shell, N minus 2 is anti-penultimate shell. Very important. Right? Now straight away I am taking the electronic configurations of that 4F series. 4F series we can take. Right. Here what we can see, the 4F series elements we can see. We can see the 4F series elements which starts from lanthanum. It starts from lanthanum, cerium, praseodymium, neodymium, promethium, samarium, europium, gadolinium, terbium, dysprosium, holmium, erbium, thulium, ytterbium we can say. Right. See, if you see the electronic configuration of lanthanum, lanthanum is the D block element. Lanthanum is the D block element, but we should consider from cerium to lutetium. All together we can see the 14 elements because the F orbitals are 7. We have 7 F orbitals. We have 7 F orbitals which can accommodate 14 electrons. Which can accommodate 14 electrons. Means we can see cerium, praseodymium, neodymium, promethium, samarium, europium, gadolinium, terbium, dysprosium, holmium, erbium, thulium, ytterbium, and lutetium we can say. Lutetium we can say. But here, if you see here, from cerium, we can see 4F1, 5D1, 6S2 is there. From there onwards, just you can see the filling of F3, F4, F5, F6, F7 like this. But gadolinium, you can see 4F7 and 5D1. Here we are taking 4F7 and 5D1 because of half-filled configuration we are doing like this. Because of half-filled configuration we are doing like this. And then after we can see the ytterbium and lutetium. Ytterbium we have 4F14, 6S2. In the lutetium, we can see 4F14, 5D1 6S2 means here also it is showing that completely filled and half filled it is going to show what a stable configuration. Stable configuration, easy to remember all 4F series because of only this one is different, remaining all same except considering 4F7 5D1 remaining all same only, right? Now here I'll write some points regarding this. Here this CE4 plus, in the CE, in the 4 plus state it is acting as a oxidizing agent. Generally in F block in the +4 state we can see the oxidizing agent or oxidant. Not
Hello?
only this, even if you take
తినిపోరా నేను ఎందుకు అట్లా చేస్తావు
terbium 4 plus, this also
Nena.
will be acting as a
తిందా నేనా
oxidizing agent. This also acting as a oxidizing agent. Means generally
ఎందుకు అట్లా
in
చేస్తావు
4
నేనా నువ్వు
plus, in the 4 plus state, it is going to show the +4 oxidation state, which is oxidizing agent. But in the +2 oxidation state, it is acting as reductant, that is YB2 plus, which is acting as a reductant. This reductant undergoes oxidation. Even europium in 2 plus state, it is acting as a reducing agent or a reductant. Means both YB2 plus, that is ytterbium 2 plus, and europium 2 plus, in both the cases we can see that the reducing nature. And if you see cerium 4 plus and Tb4 plus, it is acting as a oxidizing agent. This is regarding 4F series elements. This is regarding a 4F series elements. Generally from lanthanum to lutetium, clearly we can see that the decrease in the atomic radii, the atomic radii value, if you take lanthanum as well as lanthanum 3 plus, lanthanum 3 plus, in both the cases clearly we can see that the decrease in the atomic radii, this is because of lanthanide contraction. Lanthanide contraction already discussed in the previous class, but once again we'll discuss. That is, the lanthanide contraction is nothing but the filling of 4F is going to take place before 5D. That is the reason it is going to show similar atomic and ionic radii. This effect is known as a lanthanide contraction. Lanthanide contraction. This particular one, if you see here, here it is, this Ln represents lanthanum. Ln represents lanthanum. When it combines with acids, it is going to liberate hydrogen. When it combines with the halogens, it is going to form Ln express the compound. When it reacts with the water, it is going to react a compound like LnOH taken thrice plus H2O. This lanthanum, when it reacts with the carbon, it gives lanthanum carbide. When it reacts with the nitrogen, lanthanum nitrogen. Here this Ln represents a 4F series element. A 4F series element we can say. Even if you take sulfide, lanthanum sulfide, when it reacts with oxygen, it is going to form lanthanum oxide we can say. But here the important use of this particular 4F series elements are mixed metal. Anybody, can you say what is the composition of mixed metal? Mixed metal composition, we can take like 95% of lanthanide metal. Any lanthanide metal you can take, that is mixed metal contains 95% lanthanide metal. Lanthanide metal. And we can take 5% of iron. 5% of iron. Then consider the trace amounts of small quantities of sulfur, carbon, calcium, and aluminum you can take. All these are compositions of the mixed metal. Compositions of the mixed metal, which is very, very important. Now come to the F, the next F block elements, that is 5F series. 5F series. 5F series, it starts from where? It starts from thorium 90. Thorium 90 to lawrencium 103. Lawrencium 103 we can take. Thorium 92, lawrencium 103, we can consider. Here, one thing is very clear, but here the electronic configurations are not that easy when compared to 4F series, because here we are taking 6D2 7S2, then 5F2 6D1, then 5F3 6D1, then 5F4 6D1, then directly 567S2, 5F6 7S2, 5F7 7S2, 5F7 6D1 7S2, like this it is given. But finally it is same like a 4F series, 5F14 7S2, 5F14 6D1 7S2 we can call. Means we can consider. Here we should remember only first 3-4 elements, then our work will be easy. Then our work will be easy. But in the previous case, only one, if you start up with only one, that one alone different, remaining all, it is continuing like that only. It is continuing like this only. Right. Now, with the 2 points, I'm going to conclude this. The main applications of this particular one, this particular D and F block is, they are acting as catalyst, not only D block elements and their compounds also going to act as catalysts. So far we took many examples, that is 2SO2 plus O2 gives rise to 2SO3. What is the name of this process? What is the name of this? Contact process. What is the catalyst we are using here? V2O5, vanadium pentoxide, which is the metal oxide of D block. Metal oxide of D block. Then N2 plus 3H2 gives rise to 2NH3. Here what is the process? Haber's process. The catalyst will be iron. Then we can also use Ziegler-Natta catalyst or Ziegler's catalyst. What is this Ziegler's catalyst? Any idea to anyone? What is the
Methyl aluminum.
trialkyl aluminum? Not trimethyl. We can take trialkyl aluminum plus titanium tetrachloride. This is known as a Ziegler-Natta catalyst. This is used for the preparation of polyethenes. For the preparation of polyethenes or for polymerization reactions, we are going to use Ziegler-Natta catalyst. Ziegler-Natta catalyst. Apart from this, we are going to use a palladized chloride, that is palladium chloride we are going to use in the Wacker's process. Which process? Wacker's process we are going to use. In the Wacker's process, why we are using the oxidation of ethine to ethanol. Ethine to ethanol, that is AL, ethanol, means the triple bond is converting into the aldehydic functional group in the presence of palladized chloride. This reaction is known as Wacker's process. Wacker's process is used for the production of ethanol, that is CH3CHO. The common name of CH3CHO is acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde. Now let us see the questions regarding this particular chapter, that is this particular one. What is the first question, Uma? Tell the answer. First question. Who is going to answer this?
No question explained.
Question is not displayed. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
No,
okay.
sir.
Okay, okay. 1 minute, 1 minute. Now,
Sir,
Yes.
coming.
yes, right. Now, you tell me which one is correct regarding third ionization enthalpy. Third ionization enthalpy, which one is correct? Very good, very good. Who marked it, Ra?
Fourth one, sir.
Right, Uma, you only marked,
No, sir.
but someone marked here, which is very correct. Now, why it is correct? We'll see that. Manganese configuration 4s2 3d 5, chromium 4s1 3d5. Then we can take iron, which is there in the options, 4s2 3d6. Then we can take zinc, that is 4s2 3d10. Then copper we can take 4s1 and 3d10. 4s1 and 3d10 means, to show the second ionization enthalpy, we are writing Mn2 plus, means this becomes 0. Now it is getting a D5 configuration. Mn2 plus is becoming Mn3 plus, means we are going to remove the electron from D5. That is why it requires high energy when compared to chromium. Means here I am disturbing D5. That is the reason I am expecting Mn greater than Cr. Now let us come to chromium. Chromium first ionization enthalpy, after removing one electron, it gives D5 configuration. Then here the second ionization enthalpy is higher for chromium. Then it will become D4. The removing third electron is very easy. That is the reason the energy of Cr3 plus is less when compared to energy of converting to Mn3 plus. That is option 1 is right. Now here Mn2 plus already we discussed. Mn2 plus, it is stable because of D5. If you want to remove one more electron, it becomes D4. It becomes a D4. That for that we used to supply more energy. But if you take Fe, after removing 2 electrons, it is getting 3d6. Means in the case of Fe2 plus, it is 3d6 configuration. If it converts to Fe3 plus, if it converts to Fe3 plus, it is getting D5 configuration. It is getting D5 configuration. Means easily it can remove that. Easily it can remove that. Thereby it will get the D5 configuration. D5 configuration. That is why this also correct. Now come to Zn and Cu. Zn, after removing 2 electrons, it becomes Zn2 plus. We are talking about Zn3 plus. If you want to remove one electron from Zn2 plus to Zn2 plus, the D10 configuration is going to disturb. That is, the D10 is converting into D9. For that we should supply more energy. That is why this also correct. Now we'll compare with this one. After removing one electron, the D10 will be there. But for carbon, for copper, the second ionization enthalpy will be greater. Second ionization enthalpy will be greater. After that, it will be less only. That is the reason. Altogether, I am going with option 4. Altogether, I am going with option 4 we can take. Now, come to the next question. All of you clear with this explanation?
Yes,
Right,
sir.
right. Sneha tried so many times to connect for the classes. Sneha is there in the line?
Yes, sir. I am
Right.
in Sneha.
Okay, okay. Your name is not visible here. Sugi something is there?
Sir, in Mansa.
Okay, okay, okay.
No, sir. Mansa, sir. My sister's.
Okay, okay, okay. Actually, your network is somewhat problem today. That is why it is coming like
Yes,
this.
sir.
Okay, no, not a problem. They called me from there also. Just some students are waiting. Allow them like that. I said no problem, sir. I'll allow them.
Sir.
Right. Now, here you see this. Which of the following elements does not show the variable oxidation state? What we can say here? You are selecting question, option, I don't know which you are selecting.
Sir, when we take that question answer, it will go upside, sir.
Okay, just you can mark like this, Nora. Like this also accept.
Yes.
Take whatever you like, you take. Which one you are selecting now? See, if you take iron, generally for iron we can say Fe2 plus oxidation state and Fe3 plus oxidation state. For manganese we can take +2, +3, +4, +5, +6, +7 oxidation state. Even for copper we can take +1 and +2 oxidation state. For zinc alone we'll be taking 2 plus 1 and only oxidation state, because 4s2 3d10. After this, after removing these two, it is getting d10 configuration. Then there is no disturbance. It is not further reacting. That is the reason it is going to show only one and only oxidation state. Any other example is showing one and only oxidation state? Scandium also going to show one and only oxidation state, that is +3. That is +3 we can take. Okay, now come to the next question. That is question number 3. Like this. Now, with fluorine, the highest oxidation state possible for manganese is, what we can say? Wrong. That is wrong. See, MnF4. MnF4 is nothing but a +4 oxidation state. These words I spoke very clearly when I am discussing the oxidation state. When it combines with halogens, the maximum possibility is +4. But when it combines with oxygen, that is, here it is showing a +7 oxidation state. Even with MnO3F, it is going to show a +7 oxidation state. It shows its ability. Generally, fluorine will form a single bond. Fluorine will form a single bonds, whereas oxygen will form a double bonds. Oxygen will form a double bonds. The reason to show the +7 oxidation states, it shows its superiority for the formation of many bonds, or for the showing of many oxidation, highest oxidation state with respect to oxygen, but not with respect to fluorine. But not with respect to fluorine. Here we can take +4 oxidation state. This type of questions, generally students will commit mistakes. When we take halogens, that time it will be +4. When we take oxygen alone, oxygen with the fluorine combinations, that time we can see +7 oxidation states. +7 oxidation states. Okay, now come to the next question. Oxygen stabilizes higher oxidation state because of it is electronegative, because of its tendency to form double bond, or of small size, of large size. Here I can say that oxygen stabilizes higher oxidation state because of its ability to form a double bond.
Option 2.
Very
sir.
good. Its ability to form a double bond, we can say. Right. Now, even that is what I explained just now. MnO3 F we can take, MnO4 minus we can take. Right. Then come to the next question. That is fifth question. Electrode potential of Ni is abnormal because of what? Electrode potential of this one is abnormal because of what? Very good, very good. Somebody marked high hydration enthalpy. I agree with them, but generally the E naught value for a given D block elements is responsible. First one is enthalpy of atomization plus then first ionization enthalpy, then second ionization enthalpy, then enthalpy of hydration. Here the enthalpy of hydration is more responsible for the E naught value of nickel. That is why we are going with high hydration enthalpy. Here there is no logic, nothing ra. Just it is a memory based. When memory based questions are coming, just we go like that only. Okay, now come to the next question. Very good, very good conceptual understanding. I liked your approach. Okay, now come to the next one. The species which is paramagnetic. The species which is paramagnetic. How can you say that? Now Cr plus, that is Cr is 4s1 3d5. Then Cr plus means it is 4s0 and a 3d5. Zn2 plus, Zn I'll be writing 4s2 3d10. Zn2 plus means 4s0 3d10. Then Cu plus 4s1 3d10. Then Cu plus means 4s0 3d10. MnO4 minus x is equal to plus 7. That I can write 4s2 3d5. After removing 5 electrons, 4s0 3d0. 4s0 3d0. Gautami asked this question before going to start D block. Why they are colored, why they are not colored, like that. Here I am going to conclude once again. Here D5 means we can see the 5d electrons will be like this. I can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5 unpaired electrons I can take like this. The unpaired electrons are there. Then it is a paramagnetic substance. Then it is a paramagnetic substances. When it is paired, D10 means completely filled D electrons. That is why it is a diamagnetic substance. These two are diamagnetic substance. Here no electrons, either it is D0 and D10, both are colorless. D0 and D10 both are colorless. But when unpaired electrons is there, that time only we can see the paramagnetic behavior as well as color to the given coordination element or given D block element we can see. That is why I'm going with option 1. This particular one, if anybody is having any doubt, once again I'll pronounce this. Once again I will explain this because this type of right. Here what is happening is chromium electronic configuration 4s1 3d5 ra. Cr plus means when plus charge is coming, automatically one electron will go ra. When you take 3d and 4s, which is outer shell, 4s is the outer shell ra. That is the reason the electron will go from 4s. Then it is getting a completely half filled configuration ra. Means each orbital we can accommodate a 1 electron like this ra. 1 electron like this we can take. That is why it is a d5 configuration. Now you see this Zn2 plus 4s2 3d10, 2 electrons is going to relieve. 2 electrons are going to relieve means what we can say, we can relieve the 2 electrons from 4s, it becomes 3d10. When it is completely filled, here we can completely filled, what we can say here, when it is completely filled, we can say that it is
Stability.
diamagnetic behavior. Not only diamagnetic, it is colorless because there is no free unpaired electrons for DD transition. There is no free unpaired electrons because of DD transition. Now if you take Cu plus 4s1 3d1, one electron will go 3d10. This also diamagnetic, And finally MnO4 minus, it is colored because of what? Charge transfer, I said. It is colored because of charge transfer. Here all 7 electrons losing, it becomes 4s0 and 3d0. It is a colorless, no paramagnetic, no diamagnetic, completely d0. Just we cannot say anything. Generally it is colorless, we can see, right? That is why I'm going with option 1. Okay, now let us go with the next question. Understood, Sneha, this one? Right, right. See, this type of questions only will confuse us sometimes. What to do? There is no other go for NEET. Only the hard work, only with hard work only we can achieve something. Right, now see this. The lanthanide contraction is responsible for the fact that, very good, zirconium and hafnium will have same atomic radii. Very good. Zirconium and hafnium. Zirconium belongs to 4D, whereas hafnium belongs to 5D. But generally 4D to 5D, there should be increase in atomic radius. There should be increase in atomic radius. But here it is going to show similar atomic and ionic radii because of lanthanide contraction. Because of lanthanide contraction we can take. Lanthanide contraction means what? The filling of 4F is going to take place before 5D. That is F and D. Both are going to show poor shielding effect. But that F electrons will show higher shielding effect, when compared to D electrons. That is the reason we are expecting the similar atomic and ionic radii in case of 4D and 5D elements, right? That is the reason I am going with option 3. Any doubts are there? Anybody, if you'd like to ask any question regarding this, I don't have any problem with that. Okay, now almost everybody is aware of this because many times we are discussing this particular one, this lanthanide contraction. Now come to the next question, that is when intimate mixture of, you can see this question, when intimate mixture of potassium dichromate, potassium chloride is heated with concentrated H2SO4, concentrated H2SO4, which of the following product formed in red vapors? What compound is going to produce? Anybody, any idea is there regarding this? This particular equation is not there in the books. Whether it is there in Karnataka State Board, I don't know. But even CBSE textbook also, this particular reaction is not there. But questions will come from this. Questions will come from this. For that, very good. Right. I have one more question here. I'll ask this. Wait. K2Cr2O7 plus KCl plus H2SO4 gives rise to CrO2Cl2. What is the name of this one? CrO2Cl2 plus KHSO4 plus H2O we can take. What is the name of this one, Uma? The name of this is chromyl chloride, which is going to produce reddish vapors. Here dichromate is orange vapors. Orange vapors. Here I have one question regarding this. The CrO2Cl2 which we have taken here, it is used as one of the substance in the preparation method of one of the organic compound. What is that? Anybody, can you say that? What is the name of that particular reaction? Where we used it? Anybody, those who are there in the group right now, you can tell the answer. Very, very good. Excellent. The name of the reaction is Attard reaction. Attard's reaction for the preparation of what? Aromatic aldehydes. Aromatic aldehydes for the preparation of aromatic aldehyde. Somebody's speaker is some problem, just put it in mute. Right, aromatic aldehydes. Here, why we are using this CrO2Cl2, Sneha? Why we are using this CrO2Cl2? What is the use of this CrO2Cl2, Ra? What is the use of this CrO2Cl2? Why can't we use K2Cr2O7? Why we are using this?
Easily reducing.
What? See, here the use of the CrO2Cl2 is K2Cr2O7 will be acting as strong oxidizing agent. Strong oxidizing agent. But if you use K2Cr2O7 instead of CrO2Cl2, this K2Cr2O7 converting aldehydes to carboxylic acids. To start the reaction, correct only na? Carboxylic acids. To stop the reaction at the aldehydic stage, we are going to use CrO2Cl2. CrO2Cl2 we are going to form. Which colored complex it is going to form there? Which colored complex it is going to form there? It is going to form a brown color chromium complex. It is going to form a brown color chromium complex, which on further hydrolysis we can expect a aromatic benzaldehyde. That is aromatic compound, that is benzaldehyde we can say. Right. I have one more question, Ra. Shall I ask? In methyl benzene, what type of electronic effect you can see? In methyl benzene, what type of electronic effect you can see? Anybody? Anybody? Tell Ra.
Inductive effects.
Who said this? Methyl benzene, what effect we can see? Uma, Akshata, Ravi Kumar, Shantala, Rakshita, anybody? In methyl benzene we can see hyperconjugation. What we can see? Hyperconjugation. The other name of hyperconjugation is no bond resonance. Right. Now, leave that. Anyhow, I am handling physical as well as inorganic. Last day we will see this. Cr2O7 2 minus plus X minus gives rise to Cr3 plus H2O plus oxidized product of X. X in the above reaction cannot be. Somebody marked option 1. Let us see that. First, I'll be taking Cr2O7 2 minus gives rise to Cr3 plus, that I'll be taking 2 Cr3 plus 7 H2O. Then here we can take 14 H plus 6 electrons we can write. Now C2O4 2 minus is converting to CO2. C2O4 2 minus is converting to CO2. This we can write like 2 CO2 we can write. 2 CO2 plus 2 electrons I'll be writing. Right. This is not the correct one. The one who marked it, it is wrong. right? This is an example of a redox reaction where we can see decrease in the oxidation number as well as increase in the oxidation number. That is 2x minus 8 is equal to minus 2. 2x is equal to 6. X is equal to plus 3. Plus 3 to plus 4. Here x is equal to plus 4. Plus 3 to plus 4 means what? Then this is undergoing plus 6 to plus 3. That is reduction. Very, very good. The one who marked this 3 is correct only. But let us see the other two options also. That is correct. Then even if you take this Fe2 plus, Fe2 plus it oxidizes to Fe3 plus. Fe2 plus it is oxidizes to Fe3 plus. Even S2 minus is converting to S only. S2 minus is converting to S. Okay, but if you take this SO4 2 minus, that I'll be separating here, that I'll be writing like SO4 2 minus will be converting into HSO4 minus. HSO4 minus. SO4 2 minus sulfur oxidation state. X minus 8 is equal to minus 2. X is equal to plus 6 I can take here. X minus 8 then plus 1 is equal to minus 1. X minus 7 is equal to minus 1. X is equal to plus 6. Here also plus 6. Here also plus 6. There is no oxidation. There is no reduction. When we convert SO4 2 minus to HSO4 minus, that is why our option will be option 3 we can take. Sneha understood this point, what I am talking here? Only one thing here, maybe some they did not understand, I can understand that, but the thing is here, Cr2O7 2 minus to Cr3 plus, it is converting to plus 6 to plus 3. Plus 6 to plus 3. Generally, if you see other reactions, the C2O4 2 minus will be converting into CO2. Fe2 plus will be converting into Fe3 plus. S2 minus is converting to S. In all the cases, increase in oxidation number happened. Only in this case, only no change in oxidation number. That is why we are going with this. Cannot be this cell. Means to answer this type of questions, we should have an idea about which is undergoing reduction and which is undergoing oxidation. Means the same redox reaction which we studied in 11th standard, that we are going to connect in the D and F block elements. My sincere request to everyone, just to go through all the equations, then you get a clear idea. Okay, right. Then come to the next question. Like this. What is this? The magnetic moment of the transition elements or transition metals is found to be 5.92 of the number of unpaired electrons. How will you calculate magnetic moment? Root of magnetic moment is equal to mu is equal to root of n into n plus 2, where n is a number of unpaired electrons. Number of unpaired electrons, right? Here you can do in two methods. Either you can take the number of unpaired electrons 2, 3, 4 in the brackets. The root of this must be equal to 5.92. If you take root 2, what will happen? Mu is equal to root of 2 into 2 plus 2 we can take, this is root 8. Then the next one is the mu is equal to root of 3 into 3 plus 2. 5 3 is 15 we can take. Then third one, root of 4 into 4 plus 2. 6 into 4, root of root 24 we can take. Root 24 we can take. Then fifth one, root of 5 into 5 plus 2. 35. Root 35 is almost how much? 5.292 BM. What is BM actually?
Boron
Bor,
magnetism.
bore magneton. Bore
Magna.
magneton we can take. Okay. Understood this? Any doubts are there regarding this?
No, sir.
Right. Even this is a board question as well as one time it is board question means before it was a NEET or JEE mains question or any competitive question. Okay. Right. Somebody is marking again. Why they necessity to mark again and again, I don't know. Right. Now come to this particular one. What we can take here? Pyrolusite ore is used to prepare potassium permanganate. MnO2 gives rise to MnO4 2 minus gives rise to MnO4. Which of the following is correct regarding this? Which of the following is correct regarding this? No. No. See, first one. Let us see the first option. Here we can see fused KOH with air. It is correct, but it is electrolytic oxidation, not reduction. That is there in the second option. That is why we are going here. We are not going to take HNO3. We will be taking KOH followed by air. This also not correct. Already we have seen this reaction. MnO2 is converting into MnO4 2 minus. This MnO4 2 minus is converting into MnO4 minus. One is fused with KOH and atmospheric air or oxygen. The second one is electrolytic oxidation we can consider. Electrolytic oxidation we can consider. That is why we are going with option 2. Okay. Any doubt regarding this?
No,
No,
sir.
because it is a direct question only. Now come to the next question. Which one of the following exhibits highest oxidation state? Which one is going to exhibit highest oxidation state? Very good. The one manganese is the one which is going to show highest oxidation state. That is, what is the oxidation number here? The oxidation number is +1. Here others we can take vanadium +1, +2, +3, +4. Finally we can take +5 only. Zirconium also +2 like this. And we can take nickel also +2 we can take. Right. That is why I'm going with this one as the +7. That is manganese we can take. Somebody is playing with the marker. They are writing something here and trying to show something. Cerium and ytterbium exhibits more stable +4 and +2 oxidation states respectively. This is because of what? See, if this type of questions are coming, what we'll do? We'll skip and come. Correct, no Sneha? Generally, when we see this type of questions, what we do? We skip and come. Generally, if I'll be there, I'll practice before once, then I'll go. Because otherwise what happens, I'm going to forget everything. For this I am going to write the configuration, the outer configuration I'll be writing. That is 4f1 5d1 6s2. 54 is xenon. Atomic number 54 is xenon only. Then I'll be writing xenon 4f1 5d1 6s2. 4 plus stage means cerium 4 plus stage. It is getting what? F0 configuration. F0 configuration. Why it is F0 configuration? First 2 from here, next one from here, next one from here. Totally F becomes 0. F becomes 0. Now, generally, just now I said that before discussing questions, before I discussed some points regarding this. In +4 state, it is acting as oxidizing agent or reducing agent. It is acting as oxidant or
Oxidizing agent.
oxidizing agent. Both are one and the same. Then come to YB2 plus. YB I am taking. YB atomic number
Reducing
how
agent.
much? Very good. Very good. 70. Here we can take 4F14. Then 6S2 we can take. 6S2 we can take. Ytterbium 2 plus means what happens? This complete 2 electrons will go. Thereby we
Reducing
can see
agent.
F14 configuration. F14 configuration. Here it is acting as a reducing agent or reductant we can say. Reducing agent or reductant we can say. Why I'm saying this? Not only this here. Sometimes they may ask multiple answers also. Oxidant, reductant, all of this like this it will come. That is the reason we should give all information related to that. Okay. Now move to the next question. With this I'll stop today's session. This particular one. See this. Which one we can take? See here, easy. Suppose if you don't know first one equation, with this next one we can identify the correct answer here. Now, suppose I feel I don't know this, then I can take this. This is Cr2O7 2 minus H2Cr2O7. This I can write like Cr2O7 2 minus plus OH minus, it gives rise to CrO4 2 minus. CrO4 2 minus plus H2O I can write. Even this CrO4 2 minus in the presence of H plus, it is converting into Cr2O7 2 minus. Here also it is plus 6. 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 Which of the following does not change in the oxidation number? Like this also, sometimes we can expect questions. Here, now before what I can write? Then CrO3 plus H2O gives rise to H2 Cr2O7 we can write. H2 Cr2O7 we can write. Here we can write CrO4 2 minus 2, Cr2O7 2 minus, Cr2O7 2 minus 2, CrO4 2 minus we can take. Okay, then come to the next question, that is 15th one, right? The color of K2Cr2O7 and Fe2 plus ions are respectively due to. Very good. See, the Cr2O7 2 minus converting to CrO4 2 minus because of charge transfer. Because of charge transfer, whereas Fe2 plus configuration is what? 4s2 3d6. Then we can take d6. The d6 configuration 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5 6 we can take because of unpaired electrons. The electrons will move from lower T2G to higher EG. That is because of DD transition we can say. It's because of DD transition we can say. I said very clearly in the previous class also, only for D block elements or complex compounds are colored because of DD transition, except K2Cr2O7 and KMnO4. They are colored because of charge